Hey there, this is Chris Hudspeth, and I'm coming to you with an update for the S&P 500 for the month of April. And when we look at the S&P, the reason why we look at the S&P is because the S&P is the index that I primarily use for fixed indexed annuities. So when a client wants to put their money into an annuity and they say, how are we going to make the money grow? Typically I'm recommending the S&P, and the reason is because it is reliable. It's not up every year, but it's up more years than it is not. And when it is up, it is usually up by quite a bit. In many cases, over double digits. And so when we do that, when we take a look right here, we look at S&P performance year over year. It's it's pretty consistent, up more often than it is down. And when it is up, it's usually up over double digits. So if we can get a good cap rate of 7, 8, or 9%, then the S&P is usually where we go. So the clients ask, all right, let's see how it performed. Over the last month of April, the S&P was up over 10%, record performance for the last several years, the best month it's had in several years. So a very good month. Right here, we're looking at the past 1 month, which is 9.7, but for April 1st to 30th, it was up over double digits. Fantastic month for the S&P 500. But where this matters is when we look at the 1 year performance. If you have an annuity and you have money in the S&P index, usually that money is going to be in a 1 year point to point. That means they're going to look at where the index was a year ago, look at where the index is now, and if there's any growth, apply your cap rate. So let's say you've got a policy anniversary coming up here in May, like early May. They're going to look at the performance of the S&P where it was last year at this time, this year and this time, and then calculate. During that time period, the S&P has performed 28%. Now, of course, that's because we have a really good April, but that counts. So now you're looking at a 28% up. So if you've got a cap rate, you're capping out because the cap rates these days are 7%, 8%, 9%. I've even seen some as high as 10%. So if you've got a cap rate, you're doing good. If you have a par rate, if you have a participation rate instead of a cap rate, typically that par rate is going to be 40%, maybe 45% or so. So when we take that and we multiply that out by 40%, you're looking at 11% growth this year. If it's a 45% par rate, you'd be looking at somewhere around 12, maybe 12 and a half. I've seen some par rates as high as 50%. In that instance, you might be looking at a 14% gain on your annuity. So if you have an annuity and you're in the S&P, you had a great month, and if your policy anniversary is in May, you're probably going to be very happy with the review that you have with your agent on the performance of this past year. Now, if you have an annuity and you have money in the S&P, but your cap rate is low, let's say your cap rate is 4%, 3%, 2.5%, maybe even lower. Sometimes that means that usually what that means is that you bought the annuity back when interest rates were low. Cap rates are high these days because interest rates are high. But if you bought your annuity contract back when interest rates were low, then you might be trapped in a low cap environment. Remember back in 2020, 2021, 2022, when interest rates were really low, mortgage rates were really low? That meant cap rates were low. So if you bought your annuity back then you probably are stuck in a low cap environment. If that's the case, then we may be able to help you with a replacement. What a lot of people are doing nowadays is they're saying, hey, I got a low interest rate annuity. Can I replace it for a high interest rate annuity because interest rates are higher these days? And the answer is yes, we can assist you with that. So if that's the case, reach out to the agent who sent you this video, who sent you this review, and talk with them about, let's talk about replacements. Is it right for me? Is a replacement of my annuity going to be the right answer for me? It's not the right answer all the time, but it could be if you're looking for growth. So I hope this information helps. If you have a policy anniversary coming up in May, you're probably going to be real happy with what you see if you had money in the S&P based on this performance. So I hope this information served you well, and we'll see you again next month for next month's S&P review. Talk to you then.